Most people have been taught that you need a compelling story to sell, that you need to take people on an emotional journey before they'll buy. This sales page proves that's not true and has been running for years. It's probably generated millions of dollars in revenue, and there's not a single hero's journey story anywhere on it. No, I was broke and struggling, then I discovered this one secret. No origin story, no transformative narrative, nothing. And that's exactly why it converts. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why it works. This is Jeremy Miner's NEPQ Black Book sales page. And if you don't know Jeremy, he's one of the top sales trainers in the world. Selling Power Magazine ranked him as a top sales training company. He's built a massive following on YouTube, and he drives a ton of cold paid traffic to this page. That last part is important because when a sales page is running to cold traffic for months, sometimes years, and it's still running, that tells you something. It means the economics work. It means this page is printing money. And when I study a page like this, I'm not just looking at the copy. I'm not just looking at the design. I'm looking at the psychological flow. What question is the reader asking themselves at each stage? And how does this page answer that question before moving them to the next one? So here's what we're going to do. I've mapped out the entire anatomy of this sales page. 6 sections, each one doing a specific psychological job, with calls to action placed exactly where they need to be. By the end of this video, you're going to understand the exact flow that this page uses, and more importantly, you're going to be able to model it for your own sales page. Let's get right into it. And if you'd like more marketing content like this, then be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications to get notified when I drop more videos just like this. All right, so the first thing that we're looking at is everything above the fold. This is what someone sees before they start scrolling. And the first thing I want you to notice is how much authority is packed into this space. Right here at the top, before you even get to the headline, you've got Selling Power Magazine top-ranked sales trainer, okay? Now, over here, we have trusted by over 102,217 sales professionals. This page is stacking authority before you've even read a single sentence of copy. And that's intentional. Jeremy knows his audience. Salespeople respect his status. They respect proof, so he leads with it. Now, I want us to take a look at the headline. How to quietly outsell your competition in 2025 without lowering your status or resorting to high-pressure sales tactics. This is what I call an identity-based headline. It's not how to close more deals, how to double your commissions. It's how to outsell your competition. And if you know anything about salespeople, you know they're competitive. Sales floors have leaderboards, they have competitions, they have bonuses and rewards. So when Jeremy says outsell your competition, he's speaking directly to that identity. He's not selling a book, he's selling status. He's selling the feeling of being number one. And the subheadline handles the 2 biggest pain points without lowering your status because nobody wants to feel like they're begging for a sale, and without resorting to high pressure sales tactics because most salespeople hate that stuff. It feels gross. It feels desperate. So in one headline, he's captured the aspiration and eliminated the fear. That is why this works so powerfully. And then right below that, you've got the product shot, the price, and the call to action, okay? Everything that a ready-to-buy visitor needs is right here above the fold with no scrolling required. But for everyone else, the people who aren't ready just quite yet, the page has more work to do. You'll see directly below the fold, he has more social proof, more status elevation indicators, trusted by Fortune 500 companies like ClickFunnels, Airwallex, right? These are visual representations that he clearly knows what he's talking about, and you're going to see this stuff sprinkled all throughout his sales page. Now, the first section after that, below the fold, answers the most obvious question in the reader's mind. They've seen the product, they know what it costs, and now they're thinking, okay, but what's actually inside this thing? What am I actually going to be getting? And I want you to notice something specific about this layout. This entire section fits on a single screen. Now, from a user experience standpoint, that is crucial because my attention isn't split. I'm not seeing half of one section and half of another. Everything is contained and focused. That's a UX principle worth remembering. That stands for user experience. Every section of this page is designed to hold your full attention before you scroll to the next one. On the left-hand side here, you've got a customer holding the product with their review. More social proof, more authority, and another image of the product itself. On the right, we have 6 bullet points covering what's inside. Sales questions for every stage of the sales process. Customizable questions for your industry. Real-world script examples. Tonality tutorials. Here's what's critical about this section. There is no story. No, let me tell you how I discovered this. No hero's journey. It's an immediate breakdown of value, and that's intentional because this page is built for cold, skeptical traffic. People who don't know Jeremy yet, people who aren't ready for a 20-minute origin story. They want to know what they're getting, so he tells them immediately. And in the next section, he shows them. So here, what you've got is you have the book opened up. 2 pages like you're actually reading it, with 7 bullet points explaining what you'll find inside. Philosophy of NPQ, in-depth breakdowns, psychological reasons behind why it works, fill-in-the-blank sections so you can customize it. This is showing, not just telling. And a lot of sales pages make the mistake of describing the product without ever showing it. This page does both beautifully in every single section. And that does one important thing. It builds trust. Because the reader starts to feel like they already know what they're getting. Now, the next section is the stack, okay? This is where we get to what we call a bonus stack. And this is where most people just pile on random bonuses to inflate the value. Hey, you'll also get this, and you'll get this, and you'll get this. And they just start to throw stuff into a package and think that it's going to add value. But this page does something a lot smarter. First, I want you to look at the visuals. You've got the complete bundle displayed as one cohesive package. There's a money-back guarantee badge right there, and of course, more social proof. It feels substantial. It feels like you're getting a lot, and they all complement each other. But here's what's really smart about how these bonuses are structured. Bonus 1 is a 3-day accelerator training. It's a video training that complements the book that they're going to be receiving. Now, this book is mailed to them. It's physically mailed to them. So he gives these bonuses so they have something to immediately start to consume. Bonus number 2 is an implementation call, different modality. Now we're adding a live component. Bonus number 3 is a workshop on presentations, different topic, different skill. Bonus number 4 is the Black Book of Diffusing Objections, or a reference guide you can use on calls. Bonus number 5 is a vault of real sales call recordings, demonstrations that you can study. Do you see what's happening here? Each bonus addresses a different learning style. Audio, video, scripts, live coaching, real examples. And each bonus solves a very specific objection. What if I need help implementing this? Here's an implementation call. What if I'm more of a visual learner? Well, here's a video training. What if I need something I can reference on my calls? Here's a spiral-bound guide. That is how you design a bonus stack. Not just more fluff, but complementary stuff that covers different modalities and solves specific objections. So if we keep scrolling down, the very next section is irrefutable proof. And again, no story, just results. Here's what happened. In a controlled split test against another sales trainer, Jeremy's system increased conversions by 244%. The other trainer's system actually reduced conversions by 11%. And who was this test run with? Google. That is massive credibility. Everyone knows Google. And now Jeremy gets to say, we beat the competition by 244% in a test run by Google. Notice how simple this section is. There's no long story. There's no, let me tell you about the journey. It's just, here's the test, here's the results, here's the client. That's irrefutable proof. Numbers, logos, done. Now, as we keep scrolling, the page shifts. We've established what the product is. We've shown proof. Now we need to answer, how is this different? Why does this work? And Jeremy does this with a classic persuasion technique, which is old way versus new way. You've got 2 triangles here, and again, showing what's inside the book. And you've got the old model, which represents traditional high-pressure sales tactics, and the new model, which flips it upside down. And the copy reinforces this contrast. If you've been forced to use ineffective sales tactics by your company or sales trainer, and you know there must be a more human way to sell, well, guess what? You're right. We're confirming their bias, and we're showing them what that solution actually is. NEPQ is designed to be a more human way to sell, one that is low pressure, calm, and controlled, as opposed to the outdated high-pressure tactics that rely on rah-rah energy and enthusiasm to work. This is one of the most powerful persuasion principles that you can use selling anything. I don't care if it's a sales page, a webinar, you name it, one-on-one, When you're selling something, you're always selling against something that your audience already knows, something they've tried, something they're frustrated with. And by contrasting the old way with the new way, you make your solution feel like the obvious next step. And then in the next section, he does something brilliant. He makes everything that he's talking about very real with specific page references that are in the book that they're going to be buying. Look at the first one. Do prospects hang up on you within the first 7 to 12 seconds? Well, guess what? If you're a sales rep, you have felt that pain. You know exactly what he's talking about. So he's building that trust even more because he knows the conversation that's going in your mind that you're actually experiencing. So then he says, ask an NEPQ question. That's on page 17. This will help disarm the prospect and elevate your status in their eyes. There's a formula here that I want you guys to understand. I want you to see it. He opens with a pain point question, then he gives the solution type, not the full answer, just what to do, and then he references the exact page in the book. Then he explains the transformation right here of what happens when you use it. This is psychological copywriting genius because he's not giving away the answer. He's not teaching the method right here on the sales page, but he's proving that the answer exists, and it's on page 17. That is trust through logic. It's not theoretical, it's real. It's very specific, and it's waiting for you on page 17. If you take nothing else from this video, steal this formula, model it for yourself. Pain point question, solution type, page reference, transformation. Use it in your sales pages, use it in your emails, use it in your ads. The next part handles the single most common objection for any product. Will this work for me? And instead of writing a long explanation, he just shows a very quick explanation here, but then a grid of customers from different industries all holding the book. Insurance, solar, real estate, medical devices, home services. The visual is the proof. Very little explanation is needed. Now we get to the bottom of the page. And I want to talk about something that most people completely overlook. And I'm going to call this the scroller section. Because what you're getting right here is a very specific part of your sales page that you know the behavior of many people who land on a sales page is they just scroll all the way to the bottom. They're going to breeze through everything that we just walked through, but they want to get to the end and kind of work their way backwards. And so he calls these people out directly. Hey, for the scrollers, if you're just like me, scrolling straight to the bottom, you're an ambitious sales professional who wants to cut to the chase and start closing more deals straight away. Well, I call this the second sales page because this is the entire sales page just repeated in a different format. And that's intentional, okay? He has spent the time, probably hired a team to design this page for as many users as possible because you know there are plenty of people who will just scroll to the bottom. They want to get to the end and see what the entire thing looks like. So he gets right here and he recaps the entire offer. Now, all of this is already outlined in the rest of the sales page. He's just recapping it. And I call this the scroller's net, right? The second sales page is the scroller's net. It captures the people who skip to the bottom. It restates the offer. It answers their objections and it gives them everything they need to make a decision without scrolling back up. So we get the entire offer stack right here, and then we are simply repeating the entire sales page, but just through frequently asked questions. You see, people who scroll to the bottom, those are buyers. And so we get to this FAQ section, and we are going to be answering all of the same content that we already talked about in the rest of the sales page. So the first question here is, will it work for my industry? Yes, we've already covered that. I want this. What exactly am I getting? You're getting all of these bonuses and the complete NEPQ Black Book of Questions today. And that has already been mentioned many times on the sales page. Who is this for? That's been mentioned on the sales page as well. What is NEPQ? And how is this different than all the other sales trainings out there? How long will it take to get my book, and is there a guarantee? All of these things have already been discussed throughout the rest of the sales page. So all he's doing is he's redesigning the second sales page for the scrollers. And he's got the calls to action down here below, along with the 30-day money-back guarantee. This is an absolutely brilliant masterpiece of sales psychology and a simple framework that anyone can model if you understand exactly what Jeremy is doing with his sales page and who he's targeting. All right, so let's zoom back out. We've walked through the entire page. Now I want to give you the 3 big psychological principles that make this page work so you can apply them to your own. And these are the moves, okay? These are what separate a page like this from the ones that don't convert. And number 1 is that this page is product first, not story first. Look at how many times you see the product on this page. You get it above the fold here. You get it right down here. You see a product again. You get the product right here. It is just absolutely at the forefront of almost every single section throughout the entire sales page. Every single section has visuals of the product. That's not an accident, okay? Most people think you need a hero's journey to sell. This page proves that you can sell with product shots, benefits, and proof, okay? No story required. Number 2 is I want to call this the page 17 loop, okay? Pain point questions to call out your ideal avatar, solution type, page reference, and transformation. Referencing the product, this is what you're going to get inside, and then the transformation. This is a brilliant copywriting principle that is so easy to model and yet so powerful. It proves that the answer exists without giving it away. It builds trust through specificity, and it makes the product feel real and tangible. Use this in your sales pages anywhere that you are doing persuasion or trying to get people to take the next step. And then finally, we'll call it the second sales page, which is right here, or also the scroller's net. Okay. This is the sales page repeated in a short, concise form for everybody who's just scrolling to the bottom. And most importantly, we make sure that the frequently asked questions are all of the questions that they are asking before they can buy. There's not a ton of them here, and most of them are repeated throughout the sales page. I want this. What am I getting? Will this work in my industry? Who is this for? What is NEPQ? How is this different? Those are globally applicable to almost every single product that we are going to be selling. Don't just throw random questions in your FAQ section. Use it as an opportunity to resell to the scrollers and serve it as a second sales page. Answer the same objections, repeat the same benefits, capture the people who skipped everything and went straight to the bottom. So that's the breakdown. And if you want to screenshot something from this video, now is the time. Because what you are seeing right here is the anatomy of a high converting sales page. This is the psychological flow that pulls cold traffic from skeptical to sold. So at the first section, let me zoom in here. At the first section, we have authority and headline right at the top. This is establishing status and hooking them with an identity-based outcome. Then we have product first, no stories, just an immediate breakdown of value for cold, skeptical traffic. Next, we have the bonus stack, solving specific objections with different modalities, audio, video, scripts, and live coaching. Then we have irrefutable proof, which is case studies, numbers, and logos. Next, we have the mechanism, which is the old way versus the new way, plus the page 17 loop that makes it real and specific, which we already went through that copywriting principle. And then we have the second sales page at the bottom, and this is the scroller's net that captures everyone who skipped to the end. Now notice where the calls to action are placed. They're placed after the hook, after the proof, and after the frequently asked questions. We have lots of opportunities to convert, not just one. The next time that you write a sales page or review one that you've already written, I want you to ask yourself, am I leading with authority? Am I showing the product in every section? Am I using specific page references to build trust inside my product? Am I giving the scrollers everything they need at the bottom? If you can say yes to all 4, you've got a page that is going to convert. If this was helpful, drop a comment and let me know what your biggest takeaway is. And if you want more breakdowns like this, sales pages, ads, and funnels, go ahead and hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.